Hello, welcome to my video. In this opportunity, I'm going to talk about Percy Bysshe Shelley, that is considered one of the major romantic poets of the 19th century. He is also being recognized as a great lyric and philosophical poet in the English language and is very known for his classic anthology works such as The Ode to the West Wind and The Mask of Anarchy. I'm going to talk about his life and the major themes related to the Romanticism and also a little bit about his works. So let's start with his life. He was born on August 4th, 1792. He was born and raised in the English countryside, succeeded into a wealthy family. His father, Timothy Shelley, was a squire and a member of the parliament. He was very happy until he was around 12 years old that his parents sent him to the Eton College, where he was severely bullied both mentally and physically by his classmates. This caused him to be involved in some problems at school and to found an escapism into the writing of Gothic and melodramatic romances. So, in the fall of 1810, he entered at the University College, Oxford, where for him it was a better academic environment. There he published his first poetry and novel called Zastrozzi, which is a Gothic novel first published anonymously. In the following year, he and his friend Thomas Hogg published another novel and pamphlet called The Necessity of Atheism, where Shelley questioned the existence of God and the role of Christianity. Here you can see and you can read some of the most relevant phrases that appear in this novel. The mind cannot believe in the existence of a God. If he is infinitely wise, why should we have doubts concerning our future? At that time, the criticism of the Church in God was considered unacceptable. Consequently, he and his friend were expelled of the university. After that, his parents were so exasperated that they demanded him to give up his belief related to like being a vegetarian, his political radicalism, and also his sexual freedom belief. The influences. The first person that influenced Shelley was William Godwin, a very close friend that he met at London, and in that way he also met his second wife, Mary Godwin. Shelley took William's ideas and combined it to write Queen Mab, which is a long philosophical poem. It's a fairy referred to in William Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. The poem reiterates many of the themes represented by Shelley, like extraordinary capacity of joy, love, and hope. There are also another important author, Lord Byron, which is another poet of the Romanticism age, and John Keats. From the literary friendship of Lord Byron, he was inspired and he gained more inspiration for his poetry, and especially for his reworking of the Greek classic Prometheus Unbound. And finally, John Keats inspired him to write Adonis in honor of his death. Now, the most important works, as you can see here, include these ones: the Ode to the West Wind, Ozymandias, Music When Soft Voices Die, The Mass of Anarchy. This one is one of the most relevant because it's about the massacre of thousands of people in a protest in England. We have also major works which include visionary and long poems like Alastor, Queen Mab, Adonis, The Revolt of Iceland. And his visionary poetry include Prometheus Unbound and The Cenci. However, Shelley contributed to a lot of essays of the topic of vegetarianism. These among the most important and most popular are like on the vegetable system of diet and the vindication of natural diet. Also, something important is that he helped his wife Mary Godwin in his writing of the preface of Frankenstein. However, among the most popular poems is the Ozymandias that I was mentioning here, because it's considered one of his major contributions to the English Romantic poetry published in 1818. He was often criticized due to his outspoken challenges to religion, oppression, and conventional politics. The Mass of Anarchy is one of them, as I was describing, that is related to the massacre of thousands of people. Shelley also wrote many other pamphlets that he tried to give to the people to make them notice what was the reality of that time and the injustice that they were suffering. Finally, we have the themes. The central themes of his poetry are largely the same of Romanticism. For instance, beauty, the patience, nature, political liberty, creativity, and imagination. The works of Shelley exemplifies the English Romanticism major themes in a way he refers to the things that the people were past, or the things that happened at that time, as like the rebellion against authority. He referred also to the power of the mind, because he tended to provide a lot of inspiration by using the power of imagination to help to provide a shape of how nature appears in his writing. In reference to the inspiration of nature as well, atheism is one of the main themes that Shelley wrote about. Shelley was considered one of the first writers to publish works like these ones. That's why he tried to hide these kind of themes and works by masking it in reference of mythologies or biblical absurdities. Besides that, themes like oppression, injustice, tyranny, and power are expressed in different works and in different ways. Shelley also is considered a supporter of social justice and had strong feelings for lower classes. In other aspects, he also became advocate of all living creatures, since he saw how animals were maltreated at that time. So that's why he was considered himself a vegetarian. So, as a conclusion, Percy Bysshe Shelley was a very controversial writer at that time, because he wrote about themes and topics that many other authors didn't do it at that time because it was considered unacceptable or out of context, because it was not considered good for all the perceptions that people have about these topics and the injustice that they were suffering in that time. So um, that's all for my presentation. I hope that you have understood, and thank you for watching.